Commissioner Moran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is for our County Attorney, Mr. Roddy. I guess I'm looking for some clarification as a perfect segue of what our responsibilities and our scope and duties are here tonight. This is a rezone petition, and I feel our duties are pretty clear that as far as evaluating land use patterns, density, concerns, concurrency, and such. Where I'm troubled and my question lies is with the testimony regarding the pollution and the safety hazards. Is the scope and duty of this board to make a judgment and a determination tonight of whether this property is contaminated, or are we to focus on traditional rezone questions and criteria and let the various counties and state agencies go through their process to determine whether this property is contaminated or not?
You'll give me just a minute. Let me find the criteria, and I'll get back to you on that if you want to get on to something else. Madam Chair, to return to Commissioner Moran's question. In the nature and requirements of the Planning Commission report, there is some very general language. Number 10, whether the proposed change would create adverse impacts in the adjacent area or the county in general. And then when it talks about restrictions, stipulations, and safeguards, those necessary to protect adjacent or nearby landowners from any deleterious effects from the full impacts of any permitted uses. And so you have broad license to make recommendations based on those health, safety, and welfare issues.
Okay, so in other words, if a commissioner here tonight felt the land was contaminated and unsafe for use, based on the testimony, not any testing that was done, it would not be grounds for a vote to decline the project?
The other way.
The other way.
Well,
The other way. It's the other way.
in other words, if there's appears to be a problem, but there's not enough testing to demonstrate the extent of the problem, would that be sufficient? Is that your question? Yeah, I think that would be a fair judgment that not enough is known to make that judgment. If you have an indication, obviously you don't test for a landfill on every property. Here you have plenty of indicators that's what happened here in some tests.
Okay, thank you. I can tell you from all the years of being on the Planning Commission and being on this board, I don't think I've ever seen such misinformation, exaggerations, and flat-out misinformation and erroneous input. I guess in summary, I'm not discounting the proximity of this to the celery fields. I lived 4 or 5 years of my existence here. I drove Palmer every single day, to and from. So I know the area intimately. I know the celery fields and the hill intimately. But I can't and won't make my decisions based on speculation and a host of what-ifs. So I don't make any decision on this board or related to any other thing that comes before us at this board based on influence or intimidation on either side. So I was comfortable making the motion going forward on 2A. I don't think you can ignore the applicant that's before us on this today. This is not a speculative national builder that's coming in and out of our community. This is a proven developer that has brought projects into our community that have improved our quality of life. I just genuinely believe that. Where I think that's incredibly important is that it's magnified. The importance of that is this specific location is just an incredibly visible parcel of land for all of our people that come visit us and for our families and such. So I just think it's very, very important that you look at the big scope of this. And we had, just a couple of months ago, got our citizen surveys that have been going on, for my understanding, more than a decade here in this community, where we go out to our residents and ask how we're doing. And we have a 97% rating where people love living here. And I know we've had some negativity here today, and I guess it's just the nature of what's going on here. But if we're going to have an intellectually honest conversation about this, this applicant's commitment to our community and putting these projects before us and the contributions to Sarasota County are part of that 97% approval rating. It's 97%. So with just a summary of that, I feel comfortable moving this forward. This must be done in odd number years to make sure population numbers are correct going into election years that are even numbered years. It would be unfair to wait for the 2020 census and have an election cycle happen without these corrections. It was confirmed that the redistricting responsibilities, the obligation and duty of this commission, we have complete authority and an obligation to do this process. We hired a consultant, we had 5 public input meetings, voluntary and encouraged by Commissioner Deedit, and the board supported these voluntary meetings. We conducted the formal public hearings necessary, one of which is today. We had much public input on the matter, again, which was welcomed and encouraged. Clearly, some of the community did not agree with this. It is fully understood, but we have a job to do for all 400,000 plus residents. There's been lots of discussion in single-member districts and its relation.
Commissioner Moran. If y'all are choosing to leave, that's your decision, but just please do it quietly while we can continue this debate. Thank you.
I can wait. I'm going to wait. Should I continue, Mr. Chair, or wait a minute?
That's great leadership there. Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There's been lots of discussion of single-member districts and its relation to redistricting. This is the first Board of County Commission election since single-member districts were voted on by a majority of the voters. We must do this correctly. We have done it correctly, and we will continue to do it correctly in every odd year if necessary. While we haven't agreed on redistricting overall, I do agree we have an opportunity here, which leads to my support and reasoning for map 4.1 today.